What's going on, all you minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And join me today as I get to announce two brand new Marvel Omnis coming out in March of 2025. So let's go ahead and get started. This video is sponsored by Marvel Comics, so thank you so much to David Gabriel and the fine folks at Marvel for sending us advance notice of these particular Omnis coming out in March of 2025. And I realized that thumbnail is a little bit confusing. What the heck was I doing in that thumbnail? Is it Doctor Strange? Is it Wakanda Forever? Is it X-Men? Is it Spider-Man? Well, it's two of those. So let's go ahead and start with the first one, but go ahead and smash that like button, please. It goes a long way for us here on the channel. So, the first book we're going to be talking about that comes out in March is Cosmic X-Men Omnibus. What exactly is this? X-Men in space? Well, we'll look at the content here in a second, but first, let's take a look at your standard edition cover. And the standard edition cover is supplied by John Cassaday, and it does come from the pages of Astonishing X-Men. So we know at least that book is collected in here. So let's talk about what's collected in this particular omnibus. Collected in this omnibus is X-Men 105, 107 to 108, and 137. Uncanny X-Men, still the same title. It's just that it went through a name change, adding the uncanny adjective. Uncanny X-Men 154 to 158, 161 to 167, 276 to 277, 475 to 486, Astonishing X-Men 19 through 24, Giant Size Astonishing X-Men number 1, Mr. and Mrs. X for the first time in oversized hardcover format, 1 through 5, Marauders 1 through 5 also for the first time, and then material from Uncanny X-Men 274 to 275. Now, I'm sure I'm going to be asked, what exactly does this cover? But first, I want to say that the creative teams behind this particular collection are, of course, Chris Claremont, Joss Whedon, Ed Brubaker, Kelly Thompson, and Steve Orlando, with artwork by Dave Cockrum, John Byrne, Paul Smith, Jim Lee, Billy Tan, Clayton Henry, Jan Bazaldua, and John Cassaday, just to name a few of the artists. Now, let's talk about the direct market cover. And this direct market cover is supplied by the legendary Dave Cockrum. And it comes from that meeting with the Shi'ar Empire and the Imperial Guard. But that's what this collection is. It's a history of the X-Men and their ties to the cosmic side of the Marvel Universe. So you are going to see the Shi'ar Empire in here, of course, the Phoenix and Dark Phoenix, and you're going to see the Brood, the Starjammers, so Corsair making an appearance here. It's because it jumps from a particular era of X-Men to like when Professor X was in space, so the X-Men have to go and try to rescue him. And then it goes back to the Vulcan saga, so that is during the Ed Brubaker's era of Uncanny X-Men, so we get to see Vulcan go off into space and attack the Shi'ar Empire, and then eventually what happens there. We do see the Break World storyline in here, or the end of the Break World storyline with Astonishing X-Men, including that Giant Size. Mr. and Mrs. X, that is really a different time for the characters of Rogue and Gambit, and I've quite enjoyed that. I really hope that we end up with a big oversized collection of all of that, Gambit and Rogue and Mr. and Mrs. X. And then Marauders, which is the latest series from the era of Krakoa. Like, this is part of the Destiny of X series. This is when Kitty Pryde decides to take on a bunch of Marauders with her and go out, you guessed it, into space. But that is the content, and that's what is collected. You saw the two covers. Now, said there were two, right, when I did that thing on the thumbnail, whatever that was. So, also coming in March, we've had Amazing Spider-Man. We've had Spectacular Spider-Man. Now we have another series of Spider-Man collected in omnibus format. So it is my absolute pleasure to get to announce the Web of Spider-Man Omnibus Volume 1 coming out in March of 2025. And we've got 3 covers to look at. So let's take a look at our standard edition cover first. And this cover is supplied by Charles Vess. and has Spidey in the black outfit. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, Spider-Man is in the black outfit in all 3 of the covers. So if you're just wanting the Spider-Man black outfit, believe me, he's going to be in all 3 covers. But first, let's talk about the contents of the book. This book collects Web of Spider-Man 1 through 34, Annuals 1 through 3, Amazing Spider-Man 268, and 293 to 295, and Peter Parker to Spectacular Spider-Man 131 to 133. And you all know what that means. I'll talk a little bit about that here in a second, whenever we talk about some of the stories collected in here. But since we have 3 covers to look at, let's go ahead and look at our first direct market cover. And the first direct market cover is the one that is drawn by Greg LaRocque, featuring Spider-Man in the black outfit and a lot of his supporting cast and his arch nemesis. So speaking of arch nemesis, you are going to be seeing stories in here from the Kingpin. Not from, it's not like he wrote it. He's going to be in it. Dr. Octopus, the Vulture, the Hobgoblin, and the Hulk making an appearance through here. And you're also going to be seeing some new characters like Chance and Future Max and Magma. And you are going to be seeing pretty much the beginning of the series, because there was another Spider-Man series called Marvel Team Up. So hopefully one day we'll get that in an omnibus format. And once that series came to an end, that's when Web of Spider-Man came in and took that, pretty much that Spider-Man gap that we were missing from our ongoing series. So this is our 3rd ongoing Spider-Man series, and there is a crossover here. But first, let's look at this. This cover will tell you what the crossover is. Let's look at our next direct market cover, and that is the one supplied by Mike Zeck, and of course, it comes from the amazing, no pun intended, spectacular, also no pun, I promise that's the last dad joke, but it does come from the phenomenal story by J.M. DeMatteis and Mike Zeck, The Kraven's Last Hunt, which will be collected in here fully for the first time in an omnibus. There was a deluxe edition of Kraven's Last Hunt. Now the big question is, which colors will they use? Will they go back to the original colors or the new colors? I know some people like the original, which I think this probably will collect those. But I guess we'll find out together. But that is the next book, and in here, by the way, you do have the talents of not just J.M. DeMatteis and Mike Zeck, but also Peter David, Louise Simonson, Danny Fingeroth, David Michelinie, Len Kaminsky, Bob Layton, Christopher Priest, Ann Nocenti, Mark Silvestri, Larry Lieber, Jim Mooney, Mike Harris, Sal Buscema, Jeff Isherwood, Bob McLeod, and Tom Morgan, Dave Simons. Oh my gosh, there is so much talent in these first couple of years of Web of Spider-Man. So we have Spectacular. We need some more of those too. We have Amazing with a Volume 6 coming out. And now we have Web of Spider-Man to add to that. So that's it, everybody. Let me know in the comments down below which one of these books you're most excited for, which one you are picking up, which cover you're picking up, what you think of the content. And smash that like button on the way out. Everyone stay healthy and safe out there. More to come.